Hello everyone, welcome to Club Reaction to Rangers going out of the Scottish Cup on penalties at Ibrox. Very much the same old fucking story. I'm Scott Carney, joining me is Alistair Pearson. Ali, that was just shite.
Shite's been played there, a very familiar story with Rangers, especially against Celtic, Carney. It's usually a Hampden this happens to us, but it was in our backyard today. Against, let's be honest about it, a poor Celtic team who are missing probably 4 or 5 potential first team players, and if we can't go and beat a poor Celtic team missing 5 players, then we deserve absolutely nothing. And we got what we deserved today. We are powder puff, mentality is no there, we're weak, and I just never felt Rangers scored today, Carney, at all.
Danny Rule likes to wonder why we question mentality. It's because of this. We all know Rangers have this in them. That is a poorer Celtic team as you're going to see going to Ibrox. It really is, with the amount of injuries they have and the players they had lining up on they started with Scales at left back, and we never at any point looked like we were really troubling Celtic at all. We controlled possession for a lot of the game, but we didn't do anything with it. The mentality of this team is weak, and it's just the same old story again, especially with the way the penalties went as well. Our penalties were absolutely terrible.
Did you fancy us the penalties?
No, I mean, I didn't fancy it for 70 minutes on, mate. I said that. I said for 70 minutes on, I was like, I generally don't fancy Rangers. I just thought, we've not scored yet. The chances are, we know what happens with them. They tend to get the goal. It didn't come, yes, but even in extra time, when we had the chance with Shamiti, I thought, this isn't happening for us. I mean, it went to penalties. No, I didn't have any real confidence.
I agree. I said to the boys playing me, I said we had to win it in 120 minutes, because going to penalties, I had no faith in Rangers. I had no faith in who the 5 were to step up, because I just think we lack composure and everything all over the park. And although you've got Jack Butland there that saved penalties there, I'm thinking, do we have guys that actually can put the ball back in the net?
No.
And we'll come on to that, but aye.
No, starting 11, I don't think there was a great shock in what he decided to do, with Chukwani coming out, maybe a few eyebrows with having Raskin and Diomande in there. Suter dropping out again. Nobody really greatly shocked in it because of how poor he has been. And he brought Jiga back in, who I thought did fine. Everything else was Kizza, as you would expect. And yeah, Ali, in the first half, the only thing there is to talk about is they got a goal ruled out for being offside. I've not seen it back. Apparently it's marginal. It doesn't matter if it's offside, it's offside. The second half, the only thing we've got to talk about is our goal being ruled out for a blatant handball getting put in the back of the net.
Well, that was extra time as well.
We've seen that back. Was that extra time?
Extra time.
Was that extra time? Sorry, that was extra time. So yeah, I mean, in terms of a quality spectacle, that was not one.
No.
By either team.
No. Celtic, I think, had 0 shots in the whole game.
We'd one on target.
The first shot was a penalty.
Yeah.
Which shows how poor they are, but how poor are we?
Was it Barami? Who was this? Who shot? Somebody hit the shot for you. I remember the shot.
Barami's hit.
Was it Barami's?
Celtic's keepers had nothing to do today, let's be honest about it. He's never had any save. You went, wow, what a save. Every cross we put in the box, I actually thought their keeper did really well. Came, collected balls, just calmed it. Jack Butland doesn't do that for us. But it was a non-eventful game for an old firm from last week's game that was a 2 weeks game in terms of the game of 2 halves. This game was just, as a neutral, you'd probably turn the telly off because it was shite, to be honest. It was really poor.
I mean, you could say cagey, yes, but I think you'd be clutching at straws. I just think it was a terrible game of football. It really was by both teams. And obviously, say 90 minutes, we're at nothing each. We got a golden chance, I think, for Shamiti, probably the best chance of the game. He's got to score in extra time, and he puts it wide of the post, and it's just all building towards the penalties. And the penalties themselves, Rangers were terrible at them, honestly, really poor, not good. Gassama's body language is because he's going up to hit his.
You knew.
It really didn't look great at all, and yeah, Jack Butland not making one save in it, and yeah, we were put out. Ali, the most disappointing bit about today is again probably, and the most concerning bit is that's probably the one of the worst Celtic teams I remember coming to Ibrox in recent times anyway, and we didn't really damage them. The sheer lack of belief, the sheer lack of decision making, the lack of creativity in the final third it's as clear as day. It really is. And he can twinker and say this about that and blah blah, make excuses. There is literally no excuse today that level of Celtic team coming to Ibrox, Rangers should be winning that game every day of the week. That's our full squad, and we didn't do it.
Yeah, we should be. It just shows where we are at the moment. We said in the pub before going to the game, if we can't beat that Celtic team today in 90 minutes, we don't deserve to win anything this season. And we were right, and that's why before we went to the game today, Carney, we kind of knew in the back of your heads what potentially could happen today, because they've let us down so many times, Rangers, and they've let us down majorly today. They just don't have it, Carney. They lack it all over the park. They lack composure. The mentality is the word getting flung about a lot, but they just don't have it. And then up front, they're just so, my favourite word, powder puff.
It is though, it's toothless, mate. It's powder puff. It's nothing there.
And they just don't look. I never feel in a game that a goal's coming with Rangers.
Like we're dangerous.
You never feel it's coming. Watching that game today, as a Rangers fan, I was just waiting on the sucker punch of us making an arse or something and getting a goal for somewhere, which didn't come.
Yeah.
But the longer it went, and when it went to penalties, like I say, I turned to boys saying, me, I don't fancy us winning penalties because we just don't have it in us when it comes to pressure situations. And Celtic's penalties were good penalties, really good penalties. Dispatched them well. Ours, the ones we scored, even weren't convincing, to be honest. And it's a poor season, Carney, and I worry where we go for here in terms of St Mirren next week, in terms of the league now, because we could start to fall away. Yeah,
I absolutely agree, mate. That's my biggest concern, is where we are now moving forward. Obviously the cup's done. I think we're rank outsiders now for the league. I really do. I think there would need to be
it's Celtic and Hearts.
Celtic and Hearts now, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, is this season over yet? And that makes me not very staunch. I really don't care. My eyes don't lie when I go to Ibrox, and I've been going for far too long now to say that I don't know how this season ends, and it's just been very, very poor overall. And today just summed it all up. It really did. The mentality of the team is weak. Danny Rule has made improvements, I think, yes, but he's still not created a team that makes any chance. We don't look like a dangerous team, a cutting team, a team that's dangerous, consistently dangerous to score goals. And far too often we fall back into this passive football, and it's too easy for players just to make the easy pass, and too many of the players that we expect to step up don't, and that's what we're going round and round the houses with. And I will break it all down further during the week, in terms of players. But Rangers kind of got what they deserved today. We should be beating that level of Celtic team, and I hope you don't think I'm being disrespectful there, because I generally don't see how that Celtic team should be leaving Ibrox today with a win. But ultimately they have, and that's on Rangers. That's absolutely on Rangers. Ali, I'll need to touch on it. Obviously the scenes at the end. Once the Celtic had won on penalties, they managed to get themselves onto the kind of back of the back of the net at the Broomloan, just onto the pitch really. And then they say the UB managed to get themselves on our side, and it was all about handbags at 15 paces. But even at that, mate, it's not a good look for either team. It's not a good look for the fixture overall, and that's going to do more damage than good. And in my opinion, it's pretty embarrassing for both sets of fans that and it probably ends the away allocation at Old Firms, and it's not what anybody wants, but that's ultimately what they will do. They'll not put up with that.
No, I mean that's the game will probably be glossed over because of that now, in terms of the press, etc. They'll be onto that. It's shocking scenes, Carney. You don't want to go to a football game. What goes through folks' heads to go and do it is beyond me.
I don't know.
Celtic won the game with penalties. Fair enough, they won the game. But to come on the park and try and goad, etc., and try and run the top of the net, etc., is unacceptable. And then for us, in terms of it was mainly the UB guys, you would say, that come on the park, again, completely unacceptable to come and do that. And it's wee boys, Carney, running at each other, not even doing it, they just try and jump in front of each other. It's pathetic, and it shouldn't happen in modern football now. And as you say, Carney, you're talking about allocating the Broomloan. Will it come back to it?
Not now.
Today, that's killed it for me today. Interesting to see what happens with the two clubs now in terms of how they'll be punished for that. But
I would be shocked if Rangers are at Parkhead. I'd be shocked if there's fans at Parkhead.
I think
for the last game of the season.
There'll have to be something, because that was shocking scenes at the end of the game. A game that's on Premier Sports today, but I thought both sets of support, which is a minority of these idiots, have let their clubs down today, and I just thought it was a shocking end of the game. But What else can you say about it?
I know. I mean, I'm not going to try and justify anybody doing anything with it because it was silly. It was daft.
Silly wee boys,
Emotions are too high. Obviously, the frustrations from us because we know that we should be beating that poor Celtic team, and Celtic fans knowing that they shouldn't be winning with that poor Celtic team against us with actually a full strength team. Danny Rule did make that comment that everybody had trained. So massively concerning for me with what happens with the rest of this season. We need to somehow try and pick ourselves up and try and somehow take advantage of any slip up that may come our way in terms of this league, but I don't see it, and I don't see this team being able to capitalise on it. An extremely disappointing day. It really is a disappointing day. But the Viceroy are doing food at the back now, and it was lovely. It was really, really nice.
Bratwursts and burgers.
Yeah, it was really that was really nice. It was nice to get that after Ibrox, but that's it's a sad state of affairs. But that's probably the biggest
That's the highlight
of my day. Ali, I honestly don't know where it leaves us, mate. I really don't.
Well, all we've got left is the league, Carney. You know my thoughts on the league. I personally do not think Rangers have it in to win the league. I think today is a reason why they don't win the league, because they don't have it in them. Interesting how they respond away to St Mirren, a poor St Mirren team next week, but this is Rangers. It wouldn't shock me if they went there and dropped points, and for me the league is a two-horse race. I know we're one behind Celtic, but it's between Celtic and Hearts to battle out to the end of the season. And I wouldn't be shocked if Celtic ended up winning the double. And maybe that might not be staunch or be what to say, but it would not shock me if they did it.
It's a mentality thing as well, mate. Again, it's something that we bring up constantly and talk about constantly, and we'll continue to talk about as well. I don't think we'll get away from it. That Rangers team not being able to beat that Celtic team, you don't deserve to win anything. Let's all be honest with ourselves. You don't deserve to win anything. No matter how piss poor the referee is, and he is piss poor, it's nothing to do with that. There's no hiding behind anything tonight. The pod on Friday was called no excuses now, and there is no excuses for it. There's no excuses for Rangers not being able to beat that team. We didn't take our opportunity today. They did, and that leaves us again out of pretty much everything. I mean, a very, I would say, long shot outside chance of us getting the league title, but do you have any real confidence in this Rangers team not dropping points for the rest of the season? I certainly don't. So it was a joy to come on here and give a reaction after a game like that. Ali, thanks very much. Let's go at least enjoy a beer now, mate.
Yeah, we'll enjoy a beer, and yes, I was going to say on to St Mirren next week. I'll just be glad when this season's over.
Yes.
To be honest.
Yeah, I'm feeling that way myself. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel for some more negativity this season. That's absolutely certain. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Not the result that we wanted, but it's the result that we ultimately deserved. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We'll speak to you all next time. Cheers, everybody.